So I'm Natalie. I'm a spiritual guide, psychic medium, and I am all about reconnecting you to your intuition. I'm a massive believer that it's not my job as a psychic medium to give messages to everyone. My job is actually to reconnect you to your intuition and the gifts that you have, because you are all intuitive and you are psychic. Psychic and intuitive are exactly the same word. They mean exactly the same thing. It's just how, as humans, we have labeled the gifts, the natural born gifts that we have. And so my job and my mission from my guides is we all have the gifts, but we don't know how to really access it. We all receive messages, we all receive guidance, we all have synchronicities, we all see signs. Those moments when you're thinking about the person and they text you or they call you, or you're walking along the street and you bump into that person that you see. Those synchronicities are all those special moments. But what happens is that we don't realize that we have a spirit guide team. So we have a cheerleader team in spirit. So I love to call our spirit guides our cheerleader team in spirit, and they are the gateway to our intuition, because when you learn how to connect to your guides, your intuition will improve straight up. Like, it's so important. I work with my guide regularly. I ask her questions, I interact with her on a daily basis, and I get answers from her on all areas of my life, from money, relationships, everything. And food I should eat, the connection to my body, what's wrong, what's right, and she just gives me lots of interesting information. So that's why I'm all about sharing the connection to who our spirit guides are. So we have this cheerleader team, but we all have one main guide. And your main guide has been with you since the moment you're born until the moment that you pass over. And this main guide, you could have had past lives with. They could be ancestors. They could have been your guide more than one time. So you could have had previous past lives where this guide has been your guide for many times. They might have lived lifetimes as a human themselves, but also they can be from a different planet. They can be starseeds. Aliens are real, and your guides can be from a different planet. So, and it's all about working out who your main guide is. I met my main guide when I was 5. She appeared at the end of my bed and was like, I'm here to look after you, I'm here to guide you, and I'm here to protect you. And that's what our guides are here for. They're here to keep us on the right path. They're here to protect us, give us the information, and love us. They have so much infinite love for us. They know us better than we know ourselves sometimes, and they will have this beautiful connection where they feel, you feel this infinite love from them. How many of you know your guides already? How many of you know anything about your guides at all? None of you. I love it. Cool. This is even more special and more potent then, because they can be men, they can be women, they have a masculine or a female energy. They have personalities. So a child, yeah, it could be a child, but it might not be. It can't be someone that your main guide can't be a loved one that's passed over. A loved one who has passed over can be part of your cheerleader team in spirit. They can be part of the team, but they won't be your main guide. Because who else makes up this cheerleader team in spirit? We have protective guides, we have healing guides, and we can have messenger guides. And we can also have guides that come in at different times in our life when we need guidance and support, and they might be with us for a very short amount of time. I live in Vancouver, Canada. I used to live in London, but I now live in Canada, in Vancouver. And when I first moved to Vancouver, I was on my own. I didn't have my friends with me. I didn't have family. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here on my own. And this First Nation Native guide stepped forward, and he was like, Nat, I'm here to ground you into the energy. I'm here to protect you, and I'm here to get you acclimatized to the energy. And I didn't have him before when I was living in London. And he appeared and is great, because when I'm really struggling in Vancouver or I feel like I need some grounding, he always steps forward and is like, hi, I'm here to help. They have names as well. Our guides have names, and it's always really powerful when you can find out their name as well. So on this little bit of a journey today, we're gonna ask them to step forward with their name as well and see what comes up. And I always say, trust the first thing that comes up with the guides, with the names and the things that you're shown with them. How to work with your spirit guides, because this is the key. A lot of the time, they stand in the background. They stand in the background because we don't realize that they're there, and they don't realize that we want to work with them. So it's all about asking them to step forward, because they hang out in the background. And what they do, and I don't know if you've noticed this in your life at all, is that when we're not listening to them, they throw us mini pebbles. And if we're not listening to the mini pebbles in our life, they throw bigger rocks. And if you're not listening to the big rocks, they turn into a big life boulder that comes in, and they make us change the job, change the relationship, move house. And you're always getting those little messages though, those little feelings and emotions like, something's not right, I should change that. And we ignore it. And if you keep ignoring them, they'll bring in the big boulder. Which is why it's so important to connect to your guides and know the messages when they're little pebbles, because dealing with the little pebbles is easier than dealing with the big boulder. I don't know about you, but I'd rather just not get to those kind of let's pull the rug out and make huge life changes. So that's what our guides do and how they work. Ways that you can interact with your guides: ask for signs. Ask for signs. It's important to interact with them. And ways that you can do this: I have a sign for I'm on the right path. Let me know I'm on the right path. And I just created space, I meditated, or you can go running, you can do yoga, however you like to just quieten your mind. And you ask yourself and call in your guides, and you say, what is my sign that I'm on the right path? Mine is an owl. An owl came through, I trusted it, and now I see owls when I know I'm on the right path to let me know. It's so interesting. Even yesterday, I was questioning something in my mind, and I had this thought running through, and I was sat on the tube, and I looked up, and there was this woman with this jacket on, and it had an owl, and it just had, and it was just this owl, and I can't remember what it said around it, and I was like, okay, I'm on the right path. I've been on a coach, and I've been questioning something, and I've looked up, and there's this woman colouring in this beautiful owl. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm on the right path. So you can pick a sign that's relevant for you, so that you know that your guides are letting you on the right path. I also love to share that it's sometimes not by visual signs, it's by feelings and emotions. A lot of the times our guides work with us by, if it feels good in your body, it's a hell yes, and you should act on it. And sometimes you get those moments where it's a hell no, and you need to listen to that too, because so often we know we shouldn't do something, we question it, we do it anyway, and then it blows up in our face or something goes wrong. It's like, damn it, I should have listened. And it's about cultivating that relationship with your guide, so you're listening to the no before you have to go and experience it. I always say, one of the greatest things for dating and dating tips with your guides, especially online dating, if you're swiping, pause and actually, is this a yes or is this a no? Actually use your guides to online date. It really works. It's how I met my partner, and I listened and swiped right instead of swiping no. But you do, it is. And when you're on that date, or even on that first date, really tune in and ask your guides, does this feel right? And it's the same with careers, money, investments. It's a really, really, really powerful tool. So I always say, yeah, pick a sign that resonates. And you can also pick a sign for something that is a definite no, like a definite no. And I have a sign of a Vizsla dog as well when I know something special is going to happen. I live in Vancouver, Vizslas aren't big, there aren't very many of them. So when I see one, I'm like, something special's about to happen. But cultivating that relationship is really important. One of the best things you can do, the shower is the best time of the day to connect to your guides. It's the time when you're setting up your day, if you have a shower in the morning, or you can do it at the end of the evening too and say, you know, what do I need to know for the next day ahead? Or what do I need to learn from today? You imagine water coming over the top of your head as it cleans and clears your aura, and just ask your guides, what do I need to know today? What do I need to know? And just notice where your mind wanders. And that will really, really set you up. And it will sound like your voice. You are not gonna hear, your guide will not come through like suddenly you're hearing a man's voice in your head. It doesn't, or a woman's voice, it doesn't work. It's your voice. And it will just feel guiding, it will feel calm, it will feel authoritative, and you'll know. And it will feel like it comes from the back of your head. It will just feel like an inner guidance system. Trust it. And know that it's about creating that relationship, because the connection to our guides means that by asking them, they want you to ask them questions. You can interact with them. Don't wait for them to interact with you. Write to them. I'm a big believer of journaling to your guides. If you've got a question, you can channel your guides. So ask a question at the top of a piece of paper, write what comes down. You'll be really surprised about what comes down. You can ask your guides for messages while you sleep. So set the intention before you sleep. Guides, I want a message from you in my dream state, and they will step forward and give you messages in your dream state. It's really, really powerful. And the other place our guides love to come, nature, and when we've switched off. When we've really like created the space, stepped away from the franticness, and it's about creating that space. But the guides are your gateway to your intuition, and I really, really encourage you to, yeah, just keep cultivating that relationship, because you'll notice such a difference, such a difference. Thank you for coming.